One of the first things that you do when you arrive at the ballpark is to warm up your arms and play catch. Coaches, take this time seriously because this is a great time for you to work on the skills that are so important in developing a sound defense. I'd like to begin by talking about the throwing motion, beginning with the footwork. The one thing that I always like our infielders to do is have active feet. So when we're playing catch, I try to get our infielders to take a step to the ball with their right foot as they're catching the ball, and then from there we're going to get our body in a good position to make a strong, accurate throw. Now, some ingredients of making a strong, accurate throw is to make sure that you have proper body alignment with the lower body. If I draw a line toward my target, I want to make sure that when I step at a 45-degree angle. This is important because this is what allows me to get my hips and my shoulders turned. And now we're on line to make a good, strong, accurate throw to first base or to wherever we're throwing. The next action we're going to talk about is the arm action. I'd like to begin by talking about the grip. It's important that we have a good 2 or 3 finger grip across the horseshoe or the large part of the ball. This is what allows us to get good 12-6 rotation. The better our rotation, the more accurate our throws. If we start cutting the ball and the ball spins in this manner, then obviously the ball is going to follow the spin and it's going to start tailing. A very difficult throw for any first baseman to catch is when someone cuts the ball and the ball really tails on them. So it's important when we're warming up that we secure a good grip. And I don't care whether you use a 3-finger grip. If you've got a small hand, you're probably going to have to use 3 fingers, or you use a 2-finger grip. But the important part of the grip is that it's across the horseshoe of the ball. And the other thing is that the thumb is underneath the ball, not on the side of the ball. If you want to throw a good changeup, then you want to choke the ball. Okay? We want to make sure that our wrist is nice and flexible. And so we want to try to keep the ball out in the base of the fingers. As I mentioned, we want to try to maintain or try to create 12-6 rotation. A good little drill that I use to start off with our warm-up routine is to put our players on their knee, turn their foot at about a 45-degree angle so that their shoulders are closed toward their throw. And all we're going to work on here is dropping our arm down where our thumb goes down to our thigh. Okay? We get in a good position back here where we have a crack in the elbow. If you notice, the ball is pointed away from me. And then from there, we're going to use our left side to pull down toward our heart. And now that brings the arm up in the proper angle. And then we're going to try to let the ball come off the fingertips and create 12-6 rotation. So we start our kids at this position here, and all we're going to do is throw from about 30 feet, and we're working on arm swing and rotation.
Very good.
The arm circle is important. This is a ball and socket joint, and it's made to go in a circle. And basically, whether you're an outfielder, you're an infielder, or you're a catcher, your arm definitely goes in a circle, but the circles change. If I'm an outfielder, then I'm going to go thumb to thigh. I've got a longer arm circle because I have to make a longer throw. As an infielder, time is important. And so we're going to use an arm circle, but our arm circle is going to be chest, thumb to chest, and we shorten the time that we take to get the ball back in the throwing position. One of the ways you can help yourself as an infielder is trying to stay on top of the ball. By staying on top of the ball, what I'm talking about is making sure that our arm angle as we get up on top is that my fingers get on top of the ball. If my fingers are on the side of the ball, then obviously I'm going to cut the ball and I'm going to create spin. The more times that we can get on top of our throws, the more accurate it's going to be. When I talk about being on top of the ball, a key element is my upper arm, my bicep. If my bicep gets parallel to the ground, then I'm able to stay on top of this ball. Okay? If my elbow starts dropping, next thing you know, now I'm going to start cutting the ball. So as an infielder, any chance that we get to field the ball and try to throw overhand or over the top, we try to do that because we're more accurate. The problem that we have is a lot of young kids will throw sidearm. And sidearm to me is when the arm gets extended, and now the only way that the ball is going to come off my hands is with spin that's going to cause it to dive. So even when we throw from down under, we want to make sure that we keep a good solid foundation with a crack in the elbow so that we are throwing actually on top of the ball.
To review the proper mechanics of the throwing position, with your throwing hand foot, take a jab step at a 45-degree angle. As you step with your glove hand foot, turn your hips and shoulders to get your body properly aligned. To secure a good grip on the ball, use a 2 or 3 finger grip across the horseshoe of the ball. Your thumb should be underneath the ball, your wrist relaxed and flexible. The arm action begins with your thumb to your chest. Then bring the ball back to get into throwing position. Keep your fingers on top of the ball and your bicep parallel to the ground.
When receiving a thrown ball, we want to make sure that we have ourselves in a good athletic position, meaning that our feet are just outside of our hips, we have some flexion in our knees and our ankles, and we're able to move wherever the ball is thrown. A lot of times, young players will keep their feet together or stay flat-footed, and they're very slow at reacting to a ball that is off target. If I'm a good receiver, I should be able to receive any throw that is in a big circle here. Okay? One of the keys is the positioning of my glove. I like to have the thumbs up. As an infielder, I like to try to have our hands as close together as possible, okay, so that we don't take a lot of time exchanging the ball to get ready to throw. But by having our thumbs up, this forces us in a good position to make a quarter of a turn to catch the ball above our waist and a quarter of a turn to catch the ball below our waist. If my fingers are up and the throw happens to be below my waist, I've got to make a half turn to try to catch that ball, which is much slower.
To review, when receiving the ball, get into a good athletic position. Feet a little wider than shoulder width apart. Your knees should be flexed. Your hands are out in front, fairly close together. Point your thumbs up. This allows you to make a quarter turn to catch the ball above the waist, or a quarter turn to catch the ball below the waist.